Get out in the woods today. Gonna try to apply some of that terminology and techniques and indicators that I've gone through in the past, 3 or 4 videos on this tracking series, and just put it to practical use. Hopefully be able to show you guys, some of the different things that I've been talking about. So back out in the same area where I usually hunt. Pretty famous for people jogging through here, riding mountain bikes and stuff like that. So I was just walking down the trail, heading out, trying to see if I could see any deer while I'm out here as well. But somebody was jogging down the trail early this morning. I'll explain how I could tell that here in a minute. It's not rocket science by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to spin the camera around and hopefully be able to show you guys, a couple of different things that I was talking about. So, all right. So here we are. Obviously, it's just one footprint out of the many that follows behind it here. But again, some of the first things that you want to do when you get to your initial commencement point, obviously find any ingress or egress routes, where this person or persons came in and where they left, and how many there were, if possible, So with this pattern here, snow is good for tracking because obviously the tracks show up, pretty good. You could follow them fairly easy. But as far as an actual tread pattern on the sole of the footwear, this is a light snow. It's not very sticky. And obviously this person was jogging, so the dwell time in this footprint wasn't very much. So the tread pattern, you're not going to get a good one more often than not in the snow, unless the person was standing for any amount of time. But there's some pretty distinctive features on this one. You got some triangle patterns along the outside here. You got some slotted marks back here by the heel. You got a pretty pronounced foot roll here in the middle. So again, just touching back on, dynamics of a footprint. You have your primary impact point back here by the heel. And you can see some of the snow's blown off. That's just because it's a light snow. And as this person was jogging and the foot's hitting, it's just blowing some of that snow away. But this actual track has good edges around the sides of it here. Again, a good pronounced foot roll. And you guys can see here in the front, again, the terminal point. When he went to pick his foot up, it kind of kicked the snow up as well. Something else you want to do when you're tracking, especially a person, is give this person or persons a nickname. And it doesn't have to be anything too fancy, but I'd probably call this guy or girl Triangle Man, because you got the triangles here on the pattern of the footwear. And if you get different ones, you can name them so you can start building the idea of, I don't know what you'd call it, but just to try to pattern this person. See if I can get a good footprint next to that for you. See if you guys can even see that. Alright. So this is, I got a military style, it's a Belleville winter boot. Obviously a lot more dwell time. You guys just seen me, kind of keep my foot there. So you can see the pattern of the sole stands out a lot more than in this person. I'm definitely going to say that was a sneaker and not a boot. Not so much on mine as far as a foot roll, but you can see where the heel stops and then the front of the shoe starts. Pretty good tread pattern here. Again, the edges are good. And obviously all this stuff is going to be affected by time, gravity, weather, so on and so forth. And we'll get into that in later videos. But again, I just wanted to show you this. Now we're going to hopefully take a look back. I'll zoom the camera out for you guys. And we can start looking at some of the other things here, such as, the stride, straddle, pitch angle, and stuff like that. So give me a second. Let me adjust the camera for you. So again, I'm not sure how good you guys can pick this up on video, but we have a right foot over here, and when you're on a track line, something else you want to get in the habit of doing is marking these footprints, you know, as they are. So this being a right foot, I'd draw kind of a half moon on the side of it, and then just put a little straight mark on the bottom, and that just implicates that this is a right foot, and you do the same, so on and so forth. So the next one is up here, it's a left foot, so I'd go ahead and do the same half a moon, put the little kick mark here. Let me see if this one's on camera for you guys. Looks like it. I'm not sure how good you can see it, but so this left foot, the primary impact point is right around here, but again you can see all the blowback from where the hail struck, and that's again just due to the light snow and the weight coming down of the foot here. So again, first thing you're going to want to do, measure the overall foot. So I'll go back to this one, hopefully you guys can see it better. So I got my tracking stick. I'm going to go from the primary impact point as close as I can to the terminal point, which is the front of the foot. Slide my little band up, and right now I'm at about 11.5 inches for an overall measurement of the foot. Again, you'd want to measure up where the toe part is, the width of it, the width of the heel, and also the length of the heel itself. So those are the things that you want to measure. Now going with the stride, again it's same to same, so I'm going to go from the heel back here to the heel up front, you know, minus all that blowback. So I'm going to try to get as close as I can to the primary impact point, and that's about 4 inches short of this full 36-inch stick. So right here you got a 32-inch stride. Let me go back and check this next one here. So that was a right foot. So from the left foot to the next right foot, it's not on camera for you guys, but if you could see it, it's pretty much the same thing. It's got about a 32-inch stride here. And I didn't say it, put this out on the last video or two that I did when I got into using this tracking stick, but what this is good for also, as far as getting your strides and measurements and so forth, this is obviously a good medium. It's snow, so the tracks stand out, you know, very well. But if this was, say, dirt, and then the person or persons started walking, you know, into some leaves or something like that, or grass, what have you, where you're not going to get a good imprint of the foot. Once you pick up that stride pattern, you've already got it marked on your tracking stick, so that can help you find possibly where that next step was if you can't see a footprint. So if it went off the trail here into the leaves, like I'm saying, all you have to do, again from same to same, start out at the primary impact point, and you can kind of pivot your tracking stick and try to look for the disturbance of where that next step may have took place. So just a tip for you guys and something to think about. Alright, moving on to we already did our stride. We can go with our straddle here now. Again, that's from the innermost edges of the tracks. Because this person was jogging and not walking, if you can see it here, I'm at the edge of the inside of the right foot, and then I'm at the edge of the inside of the left foot up here. This is a 3/8 wooden dowel, and it's pretty much right on the money. So as far as a straddle, because this person was jogging, you've got about a 1/2 inch, you know, if that. So not a great straddle. Let me see if I can move the camera. Alright, so there's our tracking stick. It's nice and straight in between our right foot here and our left foot here. Now this stick is laid straight on the inside edges, so if you can see that footprint in the way that the direction of that stick's heading, that's going to give you, it's actually what we call a positive pitch. So the foot is angled off away from the stick here. So pretty decent pitch, even though this person was jogging. Again, this is the right foot and it's pitched at an outward direction from the stick here. So that's our pitch angle, and would write this down as this person has a positive pitch. And again, if it was pigeon-toed and facing in, it'd be a negative pitch. Alright, so now to cover these last couple, we've talked about the stride, the straddle, the pitch angle. The next one would be pressure, and again, that's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, the pressure from your body weight through your foot to the ground leaves the impression. Pretty easy. The next one is dwell time, and like I'm saying, I've already touched on this a bit, but this person was jogging, so the dwell time, or the amount of time that this person's foot was on the ground right here, was minimal, which is why it left, you know, not so good of an imprint of the sole of the shoe, opposed to where I put my boot here, you know, for demonstration purposes. I kind of pressed it down there and left my foot there for a minute, so you guys could see the difference in that. So obviously this one has more dwell time than the sneaker where the guy was jogging, and that'll show up different on your different types of mediums, even if it's not, you know, something where you can see the pattern so much. If it was grass or something like that where you're not going to get a pattern, obviously you'd be able to see what I talked about earlier as flattening. Obviously, the longer the foot's there, the more flattening that's going to take place, you know, be it grass or, you know, different types of vegetation. So that just covered all of your action indicators. So I'm going to take a short walk here, try to set up a small track line, and show you guys some of the different visual indicators that we went over in the last video or two. So hang tight and we'll be back. Alright, well, just before I get to laying this track line and showing you guys some different indicators as far as aerial spoor goes, got a little opportunity here to show you some transference. I come across this little creek bed here, and there's some running water in it, so I'm just going to spin the camera around, take a walk through it. Obviously it's going to be a bit different because we have snow on the ground, so it's not going to be as easy to pick up. You'll be able to see the footprints easy enough where you wouldn't need it, but just for demonstration, you know, I'm going to take a step into it, you know, walk through it, and show you guys some transference on the other side, so hang with me. You can tell from this, again, it's not the most practical application because we have snow here, but move you up, see if we can see this. Alright, so we got our first track right here prior to the creek. That's the left foot. Then the right foot stepped in the creek. Coming out on the other side, we got another left foot. And then right on the right side of that, I'll get my pointer here for you guys. Right on the right side of that, you can see all these drops from the water. That would be transference. If there wasn't snow here and it was just leaves or whatever and they were dry, you'd be able to pick that up. But in the snow where my right foot hit, you can see some discoloration. It's a bit yellow from the water. So that's just another sign of transference. So you're moving on here. Got another left foot. And again, as I was saying before, you guys would want to mark these little half a moon, showing that's a left foot. Next one will be a right foot in the leaves here. Mark that as such. So figured I'd take that quick second, show you guys some transference. And again, because it's snow, it just shows up as discoloration. It's just a little bit yellow. So stay with me. We'll be back after I set this track line and show you guys some aerial spoor.